In a time when darkness prevailed and polytheism and ignorance spread, idols were worshipped instead of Allah, crafted by human hands, then revered as if they were gods that could hear and see. And in the heart of this darkness, a great light was born, a small child carrying within his chest a pure innate nature and a heart that could never be content with falsehood. It was Abraham, peace be upon him, the close friend of the Most Merciful and the father of the prophets. From his earliest days, he would contemplate this wondrous universe. He refused to bow to a lifeless idol and could not find peace among a people who worshipped that which could create nothing. So he stood alone, brave and steadfast, facing his father and his people, proclaiming the truth in a time when silence reigned. It is the story of a prophet whose mention Allah has exalted, whose rank he has elevated, whom he tested and then chose. A story of faith, sacrifice, and steadfastness upon the truth until he became an entire nation on his own. In the land of Babylon, in Iraq, a boy was born from the lineage of Shem, son of Noah, peace be upon him, a boy through whom Allah would change the face of the earth and who would be a light in a time of darkness. His name was Abraham. At that time, the entire earth was submerged in disbelief. People had forgotten their Lord and strayed far from the path of truth, worshiping everything except Allah. Some bowed to idols, others revered the sun, the moon, and the stars, and some made kings into gods to be worshipped. And the village of Abraham, peace be upon him, was also filled with polytheism. Indeed, his father, Azar, was among the makers and sellers of idols. He would craft them with his own hands, then ask his young son to take them to the market to sell to the people. But Abraham, despite his young age, was unlike other children. He was wise and thoughtful, observing with his eyes and reflecting with his heart. He would take the idols to the market, calling out mockingly, "Buy from those who neither hears nor sees. Buy from those who neither harms nor benefits." Abraham grew up despising the idols and marveling at his people. How do they worship stones that cannot speak? How do they bow to something they themselves have made with their own hands? He did not tell himself, "I am young, and all people follow this religion. How can I be the only one right?" Instead, he stood against the current, caring not how many opposed him, nor who his adversary might be, even if it were his own father. From his childhood, his heart was guided by the light of Allah, as Allah, the Exalted, said, "And we certainly gave Abraham his sound judgment before, and we were of him well aware." Abraham, peace be upon him, continued to contemplate this vast universe. He would look at the sky, the stars, the moon, and the sun, asking himself, who created all this? And who manages its affairs? Until, guided by his innate nature and reason, he realized that this universe has a single creator, a Lord who is unseen, unlike any of his creations, and who alone deserves to be worshipped. When the light of faith dawned in his heart, he wished to guide the people as he had been guided. He began with those closest to him, his father, Azar, for no one loves a person more or wishes him greater good than his parents, and none are more deserving of guidance than family. But it was not an easy matter, for parents often see their children as small, no matter how much they grow. So how would it be if this son came to them, calling them to abandon the religion of their fathers and ancestors? What if he told them that what they worship is false, and that the truth lies in worshiping Allah alone, with no partner? And yet, Abraham did not hesitate. He stood bravely, addressing his father with gentleness and respect, revealing to him the misguidance of the people, hoping for his guidance, loving him for his good, and not seeking argument or conflict. Abraham, peace be upon him, stood addressing his father, Azar, with all politeness and a voice filled with tenderness and hope. He said to him, "O my father, I love you and wish for your good. Knowledge has come to me that has not come to you. so follow me, and I will guide you to a straight path." He implored him not to worship Satan, for Satan had disobeyed the Most Merciful, and he feared for him the punishment of Allah, lest it touch him, and he become among the allies of Satan. These were sincere words, spoken from the heart of a loving son, filled with humility and mercy, guided by sound reason, and adorned with great manners. Yet the reply was shocking, harsh. His father, in anger, said to him, "Do you reject my gods, O Abraham? If you do not stop what you are saying, I will stone you. Stay away from me, for I do not wish to see you again." Despite the natural inclination of parents to love their children, pride and anger clouded his father from guidance. He rejected his son's call and persisted in misguidance, and it was a decisive moment between faith and disbelief, between light and darkness. And despite the harsh reply, Abraham, peace be upon him, did not become angry. Instead, he responded to his father with all love and compassion, saying, "Peace be upon you, my Lord will forgive you. He has been ever watchful over me." His heart was filled with mercy, so he prayed for his father, sought forgiveness for him, and hoped for his guidance. But when Allah revealed to him that his father would not believe and that he was an enemy of Allah, Abraham stopped and disassociated himself from him in obedience to Allah's command. For the believer does not seek forgiveness for one who disbelieves in Allah, even if he is among the closest to him. As Allah, the Exalted, said, "And Abraham seeking forgiveness for his father was only because of a promise he had made to him. But when it became clear to him that he was an enemy of Allah, he disassociated himself from him." Abraham, peace be upon him, left his father's house saddened, for he had hoped for his guidance. Yet his father's heart remained closed to the light. Yet he did not despair, nor did he cease calling to the truth. He said, "If my father does not respond, perhaps someone from my people will be guided." He began addressing the people with reason and logic, speaking to their minds and guiding them through reflection toward monotheism. And on a dark night, he looked up at the sky and saw a shining star in the darkness and said, "This is my Lord." But when the star disappeared, he said, "I do not love those that vanish, for the true God does not disappear." Then he saw the moon rising, glowing with its light in the sky, and said, "This is my Lord." But when it set, he said, "If my Lord does not guide me, I will surely be among the people who are misguided." And on the next morning, the sun rose with its majesty and light, and he said, "This is my Lord, this is greater." But it too disappeared, so he declared clearly before his people, "O my people, I am free from what you associate with Allah." Then he said it with a heart full of faith and tranquility, "Indeed, I have turned my face toward the one who created the heavens and the earth, upright in faith, and I am not of those who associate others with Allah." All of this was a clever approach by Abraham, peace be upon him, to show them, through their own minds, the weakness of what they worshipped, and that the true God is the one who created the stars, the moon, and the sun, not what disappears and sets, but the one who never vanishes, and nothing is like him. Abraham, peace be upon him, did not cease calling his people. After he had established the argument before them with reason and logic, he confronted them with a direct question. "What are these statues that you are devoted to? Why do you stay by these idols all day? Do they hear you when you call upon them? Can they benefit or harm you?" But they did not ponder an answer. Instead, they said, "We found our fathers worshiping them." They relied on neither evidence nor reason. They merely followed the tradition of those before them, as one does when seeing others in error, imitating them without thought. Abraham, peace be upon him, responded to them firmly, "You and your fathers have certainly been in clear misguidance. You are mistaken, and so were those before you. Abandon the worship of that which can neither harm nor benefit you, and worship Allah, who created you and provides for you." They said to him, mockingly, "Have you come to us with the truth, or are you among those who play? Is this a serious call?" or merely jest? Abraham replied to them with complete certainty, "No, but your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, who created them, and I am a witness to that. I speak the truth and bear witness to the veracity of what I convey to you." Then he made a great oath before them, saying, "By Allah, I will surely destroy your idols after you have turned away. I will show you the weakness of these gods you worship. I will prove to you that they have no power over anything." One day, the people went out to a festival they were accustomed to celebrating in the desert. Abraham looked up at the sky and said, "I am ill." He pretended to be sick, not out of fear, but to seize the opportunity and remain alone. As soon as they left, he slipped into their temple, where their idols stood in astonishing stillness, and before them lay various kinds of food, untouched by any hand. Abraham stepped forward mockingly and said with derision, "Do you not eat? Why do you not speak?" Complete silence, just as he had expected. He raised his axe and began striking the idols, one blow after another, until nothing remained of them, except for their largest idol, which he left standing, hanging the axe on its shoulder, leaving them in ruins. Except for the greatest, perhaps they would return to it. And when the people returned, a disaster awaited them. Their gods were shattered, leaving no trace. They cried out, "Who has done this to our gods? Indeed, he is among the wrongdoers." Then some of them stood up and said, "We heard a young man mentioning them. He is called Abraham." Then they shouted in anger, "Bring him before the eyes of the people, so that they may witness. Bring him. We want to hear from him. We want to hold him accountable in front of everyone." And this was exactly what Abraham, peace be upon him, had intended: to confront them with the truth, face to face, at a time when they could neither deny it nor protect their gods, which had no power to defend themselves. Abraham stood before his people, surrounded by eyes blazing with anger and accusation. They asked him directly, "Did you do this to our gods, Abraham?" He replied with calm confidence and a gaze of mockery mixed with wisdom, "No, it was their chief who did this, so ask them if they can speak." A heavy silence fell over the crowd. Their eyes shifted between the large idol and the scattered debris on the ground. Here, a moment of truth began. Something inside them broke, just as their idols had shattered. Some of them said to one another, "You are indeed the wrongdoers." But moments of truth do not last long for those accustomed to stubbornness. But soon they returned to pride and denial, saying, "You surely know that these idols do not speak." And Abraham, seeing the blindness returning to their hearts, said, "Do you worship besides Allah that which neither benefits you nor harms you? Shame on you and what you worship besides Allah. Will you not use reason?" A cry of reason against deep-rooted ignorance and the persistence of a prophet seeking only to awaken their hearts. Yet the people, as usual, chose the path of stubbornness. When Abraham's people found themselves unable to respond, they resorted to the language of force and oppression. They shouted with zeal and anger, "Burn him and defend your gods, if you are truly able." This was a moment of cruelty and injustice, when the voice of tyranny rises above the voice of truth, and the person who carries the message of light is threatened with the harshest punishment and the severest torment. Abraham's people dug a deep trench and gathered a large amount of firewood, preparing a mighty fire so immense that they could not even approach it. Then they brought the catapult, a device for hurling stones from afar, placed Abraham, peace be upon him, in it, and cast him into the fire. They said arrogantly, "Build a structure for him and throw him into the blazing fire." And in that moment, Abraham repeated with confidence, "Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs. My Lord is enough for me, and I rely on none but Him." Then Allah commanded the fire, "O fire, be cool and safe for Abraham." It was not merely a command to cool the fire, but to be cool and safe, so that it would not harm him, but protect him. For the fire does not burn, except by Allah's command. The knife does not cut, except by His permission. And everything in this universe is subject to His decree and will. Even the animals near the fire tried to extinguish it to save Abraham. The frogs exerted their efforts, while the gecko, lizard, blew into the fire, making it blaze even more. For this reason, the Prophet Muhammad commanded the killing of the gecko and forbade the killing of the frogs in recognition of this miraculous scene. Abraham remained in the fire until it went out, safe and unharmed, a living miracle of Allah's power and greatness. Abraham, peace be upon him, emerged from the fire unharmed, with no trace of burning on his body or his clothes, and the rope by which he was bound was the only thing that burned. Allah, the Exalted, said, "And they intended for him a plot, but we made them the greatest losers." Despite this great miracle they witnessed with their own eyes, his people remained in their disbelief and stubbornness, and only one of them believed. Lot, peace be upon him, his nephew, who believed in him and accompanied him. And Allah said, "And Lot believed in him and said, 'Indeed, I will migrate to my Lord.'" Abraham, peace be upon him, after losing hope in his people, decided to migrate, leaving his homeland and family, to worship Allah where his religion would be established, and to deliver the message of monotheism to other people. The news of his call reached Nimrod, one of the 4 kings who ruled the earth. Among them, 2 were believers, Dhul-Qarnayn and Solomon, peace be upon him, and 2 were disbelievers, Nimrod and Bukt-Nazar. And Nimrod, due to his extreme arrogance and power, claimed divinity, meaning he claimed to be the owner of everything, the creator, the giver, and the taker of life, the beneficial and the harmful. And he debated with Abraham, peace be upon him. Allah said, "Have you not considered the one who disputed with Abraham concerning his Lord, because Allah had given him kingship?" Abraham replied with confidence, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death." Nimrod responded defiantly, "I give life and cause death." To prove his claim, he brought 2 men sentenced to death and said, "I will pardon this one," thus giving him life, "and I will execute that one," thus causing his death. But Abraham, peace be upon him, with his wisdom, did not waste time in fruitless argument, and gave him a decisive challenge. Then Allah brings the sun from the east, so bring it from the west. Nimrod was stunned and could not reply. Allah, the Exalted, said, "So the one who disbelieved was bewildered, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people." After that, Abraham prepared himself, along with his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot, peace be upon them, and they migrated from the land of Babylon to Palestine in the Levant. There, the 3 of them settled until a crisis arose in the Levant. So Abraham and his wife moved to Egypt. As for Lot, he settled in the southern part of the Dead Sea, within the borders of Palestine, with a people called Sodom, and their story we will recount later, God willing. Abraham, peace be upon him, entered Egypt, which was ruled by a tyrannical king, called by this name because he had killed many. News reached the king and his court about a woman whose beauty they had never seen before, Sarah, the wife of Abraham, peace be upon him, the most beautiful woman in the world after Eve. The king ordered her to be brought to him. When the servants came to escort Sarah, Abraham advised her, saying, "If they ask about me, tell them that I am your brother." For the king, if he knew that a woman was married, he would kill her husband, either out of jealousy or due to religious laws, forbidding taking a married woman without killing her husband. When Sarah entered the king's palace and he tried to approach her, she secretly prayed to Allah, and Abraham could hear her. He was surprised that the king's hand had become paralyzed. The king said to her, "Pray that my hand returns to its normal state, and I will not come near you." Sarah prayed, and the king's hand returned to normal. He tried 3 times, and each time the king's hand became paralyzed again, and her prayer proved effective. In the end, the king ordered his servants, "Take her away from here. You have brought me a sorceress." Sarah was returned to Abraham, peace be upon him, and the king gave Hagar as a gift to her, as a form of tribute, so that she would not be harmed. Abraham asked Sarah what had happened. and she recounted the events to him, telling him that Allah had saved her from the tyrannical king. And despite his cruelty, Hagar was given to her as a gift. Abraham left Egypt with Sarah and Hagar, and they returned to the Levant once again, continuing their journey in the path of calling people to worship Allah alone. And thus, the journey of Abraham, peace be upon him, in the path of prophethood began, from Babylon to Palestine, from Nimrod to the fires, and from Egypt to the Levant, carrying a steadfast, faithful heart, calling people to worship Allah alone, and paving the way for an everlasting message. But the journey of the friend of Allah is not over yet. There are still great events in the story, miracles that shake mountains, and tests of faith that move hearts to tears. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to press like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel to receive all our upcoming stories.